Welcome back to Thrifty Whiskey. I'm Josh.
I'm Keith.
And I'm Eric.
And this whiskey, we don't know what it is.
Today we're drinking Rich and Rare Reserve. Rich and Rare Reserve is a Canadian whiskey from the Sazerac Company. It is a blend of Canadian whiskey and is blended by Sazerac's master blender, Drew Mayvale. Rich and Rare Reserve comes in at 80 proof. We paid $10, which is the typical price for this bottle. As always, your prices may vary. Enjoy!
Just gonna keep making it awkward and off the cuff.
We know it's whiskey. That's about it.
Thanks, Joyce. Let's go ahead and dive in and see what we're drinking. Or try to figure it out.
Ooh.
Is that a yummy ooh?
That was an ooh. Yummy.
Oh,
I don't know about yummy. Yummy is not the right word.
But you liked it?
I like it.
See, my first sniff and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Josh.
Ethanol.
I'm getting like musty leather. Which musty isn't usually a word I would use to describe things I like.
Maybe you just like earth notes today. Maybe you're like, you just want earth.
I hate to say it. I'm getting like pine sol and lemon pledge.
I'm getting like leather and clay.
I would agree that being leather. I'm also just getting like a rubbing alcohol.
Yes.
It is definitely has an alcohol note.
To me, this reminds me of my grandma's house after she spent a couple days spring cleaning.
See, that smell, I feel that'd be a nice smell.
See,
It's a reminiscent smell, but it's not what I would want to drink.
I think almost
Okay.
the opposite. I think of like a room with leather chairs and like old books.
And
if
old
it
wood that's
hasn't-
recently been polished.
Huh?
And old wood that's recently been
No,
polished.
but it's been just sitting and it's like
Oh.
there's a layer of dust there.
It's an abandoned study smoke room.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna go for a sip. Oh, okay. At first, it was super sweet.
Yeah.
Like the first thing was super sweet, and then it kind of finished a little astringent.
And it went bitter. Pleasantly so.
Yeah. It was a sweetness that I like. It was like a fruit that I can't quite put my tongue on.
I mean, going back to the nose after the sip, it's still just rubbing alcohol for me.
Yeah.
This is a banana.
This is a banana?
This is a banana. That's the fruit that I couldn't quite put my nose on. My tongue on, whatever.
I'm kind of getting that, now that you said banana, I'm getting banana and
I'm getting fruit.
I'm getting
not
banana nut bread again.
The palate does not match the nose.
No.
No, not at all.
Like,
Not at all.
This is way better. The palate on this is way better than the nose.
Yes.
see, I agree with you, and I thought the nose was great.
The first sip was first sip's finish was definitely a little astringent. Second sip wasn't as bad.
I don't know how to spell astringent. All it really matters is that I know what my note means.
You read my mind. I don't think this is gonna do well with water.
Nope. I hope it does.
Nose is just gone for me.
Ooh. See, now it just smells musty without the leather. It's like you took that room, you took everything away, but you just left all the dust and some like water.
Palate got a little thinner, but I feel like the finish kind of ramped up a little bit, and I liked that finish more.
You guys are way ahead of me. I'm just now adding water.
I like this a lot better neat. I was kind of hoping it'd be the opposite, but this is like,
Because you want a cocktail whiskey.
yeah. I'm always looking for a cocktail whiskey.
Going back to the banana, to me, adding the water really makes that banana aroma really stand out.
See, I think the water just destroys the nose. There's not really any solidly strong notes.
I think it's like a little bit of sweetness, but that's not.
I mean,
that's not a strong note.
I can see the banana, but bananas aren't a particularly potent smell.
Right. We're going to disagree on this completely, but I think the water improved the nose, but I hated the nose.
Yeah, you didn't like the nose to begin with. I liked
Yeah.
the nose to begin with. I think the only thing that water helped on this was the finish.
All right, since you like this whiskey so much, why don't you go first?
All right, I'm giving this one. Hold on, I have to think about this. All right, I'm giving this one a 4 on the nose. I personally loved the first, like that leather, clay, earthy, musky smell that I got off it. I thought it was very inviting. I then gave it a 5 on the palate. This was fantastic on the palate. That sweetness, it had a little bit of the earthy notes, but not too much. It was more sweet and banana, which is a very unique note. And then I gave it a 3 on the finish. I thought it just kind of fell flat.
Okay. Well then.
Yeah. I think that's the first 5 I've given. I could be wrong.
I think it is the first 5 you've ever given on, because you've always said in the past, like, oh, this can be a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't think this one can be better.
Okay, go ahead.
It could be better in a different way.
Okay.
But it can't do this better.
Okay.
We could not be any more opposite on a whiskey than this one.
I don't know. That last one was pretty opposite too.
But no, we are really opposite on this one. So the nose, I picked up Pine Sol and Lemon Pledge. Pleasant smells on their own, but not what I want to drink. I'm not about pouring myself a nice glass of chemical. I'm giving this a 1.5 on the nose. On the palate, I got a little bit of banana, a little bit of nut, banana nut bread maybe, kind of sweet. Little bit of that Pine Sol that I picked up on the nose, I was picking up on the palate, almost like a IPA pine resin flavor to it. I liked that. The palate was the strong point for this whiskey for me. I'm kicking up the palate to a 3.5. The finish, I found it a little too dry. I thought that it lingered a little too long. It was a medium to long finish for me. With water, it sweetened it up a little bit, which is why I'm kicking the finish up to a 2.5 with water. Without, maybe a 1 or a 2.
I'm really close to you. I gave the nose a 2, the palate 3.5, and the finish a 2.5. The nose just, to me, just smelled like rubbing alcohol and like a little bit of sweetness. Now, apparently I didn't mind it too much since I gave it a 2 and not anything lower, but the palate I actually enjoyed. I don't know if it's because I just enjoyed it because it came off the nose, and the nose was just so cringy for me that I'm like, oh, just relieved that it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And then the finish, you said it lingered. I like it when it lingers, even if it's not what the palate makes you think it should be. Like if it's a really thin whiskey and he still gives you a long finish, I'm still okay with that. As long as it's not like a bad flavor. And I thought the flavors on the finish were good. Or decent. Decent. They're fine. So now we're going to do our guesses. What do you guys think this whiskey is? We want to know what kind of whiskey, the proof, what you think retail is, and how much you'd be willing to pay for it.
I think this is an Irish. I think it's 84 proof because I have to guess 84. I think that it's a $22 bottle, and I would probably pay 20 to 22.
I'm going with an 84 proof Canadian, $14 retail. I would pay 10.
I'm going an 80 proof Canadian. I think retail's 10. I'd be willing to pay 14 though. So just a little flip there. All right, time for reveal.
Oh dear.
Is this Hellcat?
I don't know. All right, today we drank Rich and Rare Reserve. Rich and Rare Reserve. This is a Canadian whiskey.
Sure is.
It is 80 proof. It is a minimum of 3 years old because of Canadian law. Mash bill, don't know. Cast type, don't know. The producer is Sazerac. It's likely made at the Old Montreal distillery. Price is $10, and I paid $10.
But you would have paid 14.
I would have paid 14. That was probably one of the best. That's one of the.
Where did you get this? Can you get this in PA?
I got it in Canada. No, not Canada. I got it in Ohio.
Can I get it in PA?
I don't know.
All right. Well, I might be going to Ohio.
Do you think this
I
was...
said I'd be willing to pay $20 for this. One I thought was an Irish, but I'd still pay 20 for it. I would definitely get 2 bottles for 10.
I will say, for a $10 bottle of Canadian whiskey, this was pretty good. Even with the rubbing alcohol notes, I still think it was better than Black Velvet or Canadian Club.
For $10, that's a pretty fancy bottle.
That too.
Here's my thing. I gave it across the 3 categories more than 10 points. If I'm giving it more than a point per dollar, it's definitely worth it to me.
Just so you know, this is a screw top.
Yeah,
Not a cork.
I knew that was a screw top. Ooh. I do like that the screw top covers the
threads.
The safety cap.
the safety cap, because if it screwed right down to that, no, I wouldn't like that.
I will say that is a really well designed cap.
Yeah, it
Yes,
is.
it is.
And this is glass. This is actual glass, not plastic.
A glass bottle with that nice of a cap for $10.
Yes. I looked it up. It said it was Rich and Rare Reserve, right? And I'm like, okay, Rich and Rare Reserve. So is there a normal Rich and Rare? There used to be. There isn't anymore. Just Rich and Rare Reserve. I think they literally just took the normal Rich and Rare and just slapped Reserve on it. And then gave it a new bottle.
They're running out of it. This is the Reserve.
All right, so real quick, other ratings from around the web. Whisky Advocate gave this an 82, which is pretty decent, I think, for Whisky Advocate giving Canadian whiskeys reviews. And Tastings.com gave it a bronze, which is a recommend, but not like a high recommend. I don't like their medal system, but sometimes they give like numbers too.
I would say, haven't they given numbers in the past?
Yes, they have.
Weird.
Weird indeed. Tasting notes: nose, sweet caramel, rye, and oak. Palate: pepper, fruit, rye, orange, and sweet. And finish: spice and caramel. They said rye on the first note and the second note, and you do really like ryes.
I do really like ryes.
Maybe you just really like rye whiskey, even when it's Canadian. Like now, I want to get like a really nice bottle of rye Canadian rye, like Alberta Premium cask strength, which is not in our price category. I bet you would love that.
Probably would.
It was named Whiskey of the Year by somebody at one point, so it's like 66% alcohol.
But if it's not in our price range, I would feel bad mixing it.
Oh, you want to mix this?
Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, go for it. It's $10 bottle.
Right. Anything that's $10, I'm willing to try mix.
All right. Well, this will go up against Canadian Club and Black Velvet down the road once we have a 4th Canadian whiskey. I think this is going to do well against those two.
So do I.
Well, that's all we have for you today. If you like what we're doing, give us a like, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and leave us a comment. Love to hear from you. And until next time, may the wind's fortune sail you.
May you sail a gentle sea.
May it always be the other guy who says,
This drink's on me.
Can't do it.
Can't do it.
I love that.
I will say I like that for a Canadian.